You can just show me a thumbs up or just let me know in the comment section. It is all right. So before we start the session, I'll just like to give my brief introduction. My name is Akriti Sondhi. I'm a teacher by profession, a pranic healer, and practicing Aratik Yogi by choice. And also, apart from pranic healing school, I follow the teachings of other schools as well. One of them is the TSG Foundation. Even in our school, Master Chua Koksui, who's the founder of Pranic Healing and Arhatic Yoga, he himself has recommended us to and read the other books and also assimilate the knowledge from there. So one is the TSG Foundation and other is the Theosophical Society. So of lately in this pandemic, uh, I have started and taken up an initiative that why should the teachings be within the premises of Zoom sessions, right? It should be accessible for everybody who is equally interested in, working on their mental faculty, and they were like to work on themselves. So that is why I came up with this idea. The teachings should be shared on the YouTube platform where anybody who is equally interested in esoteric, they can come and they can access. And plus, anybody who's interested in knowing and spreading the knowledge, they can do it directly from the social platform. So before we move ahead, of lately we have started with two topics from the book of Joy and Healing, written by Torkam sir. His name is Torkam Saradaria. So just would like to ask how many of you have got an opportunity to complete the part one from YouTube? Anybody who have seen the previous recording, who have been through the previous session? You can just unmute yourself or mention in the comment section. Yes, no. No. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that response. Now, basically, in the part one, what we did, I'll just give you a small synopsis, and later on, whenever you get time, you can go through it. So, basically, in in this entire book, now two chapters I found, like, we should start at least from somewhere, because most of the time when we do the twin hearts meditation, where a part of it is Saint Francis of Assisi prayer, right? So we know Saint Francis of Assisi prayer is a prayer of transmutation. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So, in that prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, where he talks about, where there is sadness, joy. So, especially this phrase, this paragraph, this particular line where he talks about transmutation, I was like, okay, this is the book. As I was going through the book, this is the book which is worthwhile. We can pick up and discuss and share something about joy. Because most of the time we think in life, joy is something which we can achieve in life. Joy is something which, if I get this promotion in life, I will be filled with joy. But in reality, if we are made in the image of God, which is divine light, divine love, and divine power, joy is a natural state within us. So, in the previous session in part one, I discussed a little bit about from this book that what is joy, what kind of energy it is, because joy is the energy of the soul. Yes, and if stating that sentence, we are the soul and this body is the holy temple of the soul, then that means joy is naturally within us. It is up to us that how many times we want to, feel that joy within ourselves. Okay, so before moving ahead, just to give you a small synopsis, those who have missed that session. So, in the last previous series, we talk about that how can we increase joy in life, हम joy कैसे increase कर सकते हैं अपनी life में. Most of the time we think that, okay, I want to feel the joy, but how? What are the correct steps that I should take? So there are three ways through which we can increase the joy. One is the service. When we serve other people, as per law of karma, what you do to others, we are doing to our own self, right? So if that statement is universally correct, that means If I am doing something for somebody, I am doing for myself, because in the world of soul there is no separatism, there is only and only oneness. And when we are serving other person, it gives us so much of joy. For example, if say you decide, okay, let me today do the service, let me go outside, we know in the pandemic, um, you know let me contribute in the to the hungry people, for serving them with food. Okay, so I took this much amount of money, and I will use this money to help somebody who's poor and who cannot afford. So I'll give them food, and you know that feeling, that love which we share with that person, okay, that gives us so much of joy. So service is all about joy. When we do, again, it is about intention. Your intention matters. As beautifully said in this book, Light on the Path, this entire book, if you ever get a chance, read this book. This entire book is about intention. So अगर आप कोई काम इस intention से करते, oh, I'm doing this service because I want to compete with others, then what we are doing, we doing the service with the heart chakra? Are we doing service with anhata? No, it's more and more solar plexus, right? It's about competition, I centered. So if you are service doing the service with the motive that yes, I want to help this person, so the joy, which is the energy of the soul, which it naturally increases within us. So first way is joy. Second way is when we appreciate other person, okay, and when we appreciate ourselves. So when you appreciate somebody, whether we understand, whether we feel it or not, it just increases the beauty within us, because we are one and there is no separatism. And if we are, I'll give you example of separatism as we move ahead in the session. So when we appreciate somebody, the joy they feel, the confidence they feel, because we don't know what people are going through in their life, what battle each individual is going through, right? And when you appreciate somebody, haven't we seen that, this person might tell us back, acha, I did not think about myself that way. So their confidence increase, their morale, it boost, right? So it's just like, sharing the love, the appreciation with somebody. The more you appreciate, it's like you're sharing a part of gratitude in motion with somebody. Okay, and what will come back to us? Appreciation. So that's also a way to increase joy. Now what I've noticed that most of the time, yes, we like to get a lot in life. We like to get gifts. We like, if we are attending some sessions, if we like that, okay, we are getting knowledge from here, we are getting knowledge from there. But my question is that, I tell to people most of the time, are we really implementing those sessions in life? It's good to get the knowledge. Again, knowledge is light aspect. When where there is darkness, let us sow light. So it's like disintegrating the darkness. So first step is, of course, I should have the awareness. But my question is, are we really practicing into it, or throughout the day we are just attending the session? Because of lately in pandemic, there are so many sessions which are being happening across the globe. It's so many of modalities. Are we really implementing them? So something to think about, differentiating from real and unreal. So speaking of that, sit back. Sometimes nothing is free in life. So when something is doing for you, it's not exactly for you, but it's more of a service. There is no harm in appreciating, right? If you find somebody, you go outside, you find somebody, they have talent, they're wearing something, beautiful, and it's suiting them. Even if you don't like the person, appreciate them. Appreciation is free, right? Plus it increases the joy energy. So what's the harm in it, right? What's the harm in it? So third way how we can increase joy within ourselves. So this is what I'm just recapping the previous session. We have not started today's session right now. Third way is synthesizing or harmony. So we know that we are human, so we evolved through a process, through mineral, plant, animal, and then the human kingdom. And we know that ray 4 is also harmony through conflict. So no matter whatever is the situation in life, how much adverse, how much challenging, how much testing kind of a situation is there in life, our thought should be, okay, there is this conflict, there is this mental conflict, there is this challenge, there is this test. How can I harmonize it? So, just a simple example, when there is no harmony even in our body, different subtle bodies, we tend to have disease in the body, like dis-ease. There is no ease. So lack of harmony causes a lot of tension. Okay, a lot of tension. This tension, this rubbing, this irritation in different emotional, etheric, and mental body creates dis-ease in the physical body, right? So again, if you have missed the previous session, I cannot uh, waste today's time in just completing the previous session because time is precious. Again, go back to YouTube. You will just type my name, AKRITISONDHI, and you'll get the link. Plus, we have discussed a lot of esoteric discussions over there, and we are going to continue. Okay, so let us start today's session. Are we ready with the invocation? Okay, so just close your eyes, keep your spine straight, tongue to the palate. Inhale slowly, hold, and exhale. Inhale slowly, and exhale. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, to my beloved teacher, Grandmaster Chokok Sui, to his teacher, Mahaguruji Mele. If you have any other spiritual teacher, you can invoke for their blessings. To all the masters, to all the great, great Johans, to all the saints, to all the archangels, to all the angelic beings of knowledge, to all the angels of love, mercy, and especially angels of joy, to our higher self, to our divine self. We humbly invoke for the divine light, divine love, divine power. We humbly invoke for the energies of discernment. We humbly invoke for the energies of your help, your protection, your guidance throughout this session, especially to the Archangel Gabriel. Thank you for helping and facilitating us throughout this session. Thank you for your presence, your guidance, your mercy, your love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Especially a special thanks to the TSG Foundation, to the Torkum Saldaria sir, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to go through this book, to understand what are the hindrances on the path of joy and how we can eliminate them and become a better soul, a better human being. Thanks and in full faith. So be it, so be it, so it is. Thank you for giving us the strength to be persistent and transmute and connect with the joy within us. Inhale the blessings, hold and exhale. Be aware that we are the being of joy. We are the being of love, mercy, compassion, discernment, and goodwill. Atma Namaste. You can open your eyes with a beautiful smile. So let us continue with this part 2. And as we are doing, I like to not use exactly complete my understanding. I like to read from the book. So, the energy, the teachings of the teacher just flow through. So today we are going to start with the chapter 6, which is the hindrance to joy. Means what are the obstacle, or what are the limitation which stops us on the path to get joy, or to tap into the joy energy within us. So I will be reading a book, reading the paragraph from the book, and a little bit explanation will be from my understanding. So I'll humbly request you all to use your discernment. You be open, be receptive, and again use your discernment at the same point. Okay, so as I read from the chapter, There are many conditions that hinders joy. Hinder means obstructing or limiting, which is stopping us to become joyful in life. They are as follows. First, separatism creates hindrance to joy. If you are separative, if you are against God, whenever you are separative, joy disappears from us. When you are really joyful, start when you are really joyful, start gossiping, and you will see how unhappy your heart will be. When you are joyful, steal something and you will be unhappy. When you are joyful and do something unrighteous, and you will see the joy evaporates from your heart. If you unify and synthesize people, your joy will increase. If you divide, your joy disappears. Okay, so this was one thing which was written in the teachings in the book, hindrances to joy. I'll just like to add on few examples in our day-to-day life where I feel that people who are on the path, these tendencies crops up and comes and rise, and it's on the surface. Now it's good, at least we know we have to remove them from our system. Now first, separatism, first thing which separates us from joy, or attaining the joy, feeling the bliss, or feeling the synthesizes, is the separatism. Now separatism could be on different level. Now, for example, like people who are on the spiritual path, now some of us, we have these tendencies, as we are healing, as we are meditating, as we are purifying and cleaning ourselves, we have somewhere or the other. Now I'm not saying all of us we do have, but some of us might have to some extent. Now you should not literally look at the word, but we should try to look at the essence where the finger is pointing. So it is something like this: when we are on the path, some tendencies, some behavior and patterns, they come up to the surface, and it is natural, because as we are trying to work out on our karma, the lords of karma are like, hey, you, what about the karma which you've sown in the previous incarnation? You have to transmute them. Better you work on it. So those tendencies will come. Now, first tendency which comes to the surface is separatism. Now, separatism we practice on different level. For some people, it could be 100%. For some people, it could be 50%. For some people, it could be 35%. So it depends on person to person, or personality, I should say, not person. As we're speaking of esoteric, personalities are lower nature and lower tendencies, which is there in the physical body, etheric body, emotional and mental body, which is again the bodies of the jivatma, how through which jivatma evolves in life. Now as we heal, we meditate, we think, oh, I am superior, I am different from this person. This person is very unclean and untidy. So, even that kind of a thought where we are differentiating between us and somebody else is totally a wrong concept. Okay. Differentiating on, basic level, on caste, on creed, on, color complexion, on race. Now, speaking of that, there is something called human evolution and angel evolution. Now there are angelic beings who are there for certain areas, certain nations, certain races. So when we are actually differentiating, we are just trying to create a tier in the nature of God. So which is lawfully wrong in the eyes of God. So we humans, we, due to our personality, we do a lot of separatism, that, oh, I did this percentage of donation. Now I'm literally taking examples of day-to-day life. Oh, I'm doing this much of donation, that person is not able to donate. Oh, I am doing 7 times a meditation in the week. Wow. Oh, you are doing 3 times. It's okay. It's okay. Those levels of differentiation. Are we understanding? Are we creating an awareness? So we should stop doing that. Now, when I say stop doing that, when we focus something that we do not have to do, we tend to do it more and more. That is human psychology. So we should try to focus on positive and try to eliminate our negative nature. It's good at least that we are aware. Awareness is really important in life. Now, sitting with the awareness and doing nothing, now that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. Okay, so when it says that in the book, whenever we are joyful in life, okay, whenever we are happy in life, and if we do something negative, for example, if we are not being right, if we are gossiping, so what are we doing? We are killing the joy. In other words, we are assassinating the joy. Now in this book, At the Feet of the Master, J Krishnamurti has beautifully written, you know, there are certain crimes against love, and out of which one is gossip. So gossip is like, you know, rumor. It's like supposedly I, me, and third person is there, and you know, we three are good friends, good family members, and good friends. And as I'm speaking about something negative to the second person about this third person who's not even there and who doesn't know anything. Now, what I'm trying to do, I am literally emotionally murdering what I'm killing, the love this second person has for this third person, you know, because I'm filling their ear with negativity. So gossip is something, yes, it comes to the surface. Jealousy, gossip, separatism, these are certain, you know, brothers and sister which comes to the surface. So we should really start removing these injuriousness in thoughts, in words, and in action. The more we remove them and make our aura, you know, energized with positivity, that is joy, the better striving we are doing on the path. Okay, so first was separatism, which is hindrance to joy. Now if I speak of separatism on subtle level, we uh, do the separatism, like people in spirituality, they like to be separative a lot. For example, you know, as per my understanding is, and also in one of the posts where I saw on Facebook, it's something like this, that to read any book, to read any spiritual book, to read any esoteric book, we do not need any eligibility. If you wish to read a book, now when I'm saying this sentence, you should like try to understand that if you wish to read any esoteric spiritual book, आपका मन है पढ़ने का, उसके लिए you do not need any eligibility. If you like to read books from Theosophical Society, yes, you can read. If you like to read books of pranic healing, yes, you can read. If you like to read book of the TSG Foundation, yes, you can read. We do not need any eligibility. All we need is and questioning mind which wants to learn and which wants to, you know, change and wants to become better and better on the path. So any separatism created on physical level, emotional level, you know, financial level, on the terms of relationship, and especially in spirituality, is what we call, oh, I am so pure. So that is also a crime when it comes to, you know, attaining joy in life. Because in reality there is no separatism, there is actually no separatism. The more you become humble, the more you help people. Remember, a lotus comes out of the mud, yes, so its roots are still in that mud. Lotus comes out and its roots are still in mud. So the better, the more we help people, we have to go in the mud and we have to help and come out of it. So, where is separatism in this? Just a seed thought. Next is vanity. Vanity works against joy because vanity is a labor to build a false self image within yourself. So, vanity is something which is more to do with the mental body. Now, mentally, we think that, you know, okay, this is my image and this is what I have to maintain. As we keep on trying to maintain our false image, which is actually an illusion, which is not there, because if we are not this body, if we are not this emotion, even if we are not the thought, then thought must be an illusion, isn't it? So vanity is something like, you know, continuously we are trying to think about some false image, like, oh, I have attained this level. Oh, I'm spiritually evolved. Oh, I am different from that person. They're not meditating. So, any that kind of a false image illusion we have, it creates vanity, and vanity somewhere or the other, it's like injuriousness where we are, being judgmental a lot. So vanity is the assumption that you have lots of things which you do not have. Because the more humble we are, we understand with knowledge there comes more and more responsibility. With knowledge there comes, okay, this is a beautiful understanding uh, from the Mahabharata. Sorry, I do not know exactly the lines, but the essence of the teaching was something like this: with the knowledge doesn't comes the arrogance or pride. With more and more knowledge comes the humility, to understand that there is so much of abundance of knowledge and we know still nothing. So are we communicating? Are we understanding? With more knowledge comes humility, not the pride. If pride is developing within us, we should try to eliminate it. So the more you know, the more we know, it's our responsibility to act upon it. It's our responsibility to be humble. Oh, there is so much in the universe, it's just infinite. And I should help the people to develop them in the evolution, because I am them and they are me. So it's something like this. All right. As I'll continue from the book, vanity is the assumption that you have lots of things which you do not have, that you know lots of things which you do not know, which you that you can do many things which you cannot do. Okay. Now, even something like, promising people something extra is also comes under, fake promises or cheating. For example, okay, somebody came to me being an healer, um, me being a healer, I said, okay, I promise you, you take this healing from me and you will be cured. That is false perception. First of all, I am not doing the healing, I am an instrument. So this is, again, this is my understanding. This is one of the reason I don't like, when people say trainer. Okay, again, this is my understanding, because I feel that we ourselves needs so much of training, so much of, learning in life, incarnations after the incarnation. So to me, the word which suits the more in my understanding is an instrument, not the trainer, because I feel, how can I train somebody when I myself, my soul needs training for incarnations? So again, this is my understanding. Again, this is like an illusion which I like to, disintegrate or dissolve. That how can I train somebody when I myself, I'm learning and training and working upon myself? Okay, so yes. So vanity works against joy. For example, if you have preconceived ideas and superstitions, or if you are brainwashed, you will not want to change yourself and orient yourself to reality. Now, this is how, people develop illusion or maya or assumptions that, okay, this is very common, I find in relationship basically, or relationship is not the accurate word, I should say communication. When two people are communicating, I really feel that, somewhere or the other, that social media is very good. Again, it's helping us. It's Aquarian era. We are entering into Aquarian era. Everything is spreading in the air. Element is there. Everything is very beautiful. But somewhere or the other, using too much of it, we have become, very impatient. Again, this is my observation, because what happened, that when we are talking, we know that, with internet, it's just communication is happening in fraction of seconds. So when there's a blue tick, we want the other person to reply, and the moment replies comes, after some time, we become impatient. So we should actually, learn to respect that. Somewhere or the other, excess usage of it leads to, impatience. So we do need, virtual detoxification also in life. When speaking of vanity, coming back to the topic, yeah, so it is something like this, when two people are talking, so it's more like, I am assuming, oh, I have this plan, this person should also try to, agree to my plan. Now, again, this thought form itself leads to excessive attachment, expectation, and then dukkha happens in life, suffering happens in life, because we are dwelling on an idea, we are dwelling upon an idea which itself doesn't exist. It itself is an illusion and delusion. So, vanity will be developed. So we should be aware of sometimes our thought, because हमें लगता है that, the other person is hurting me, the other person is not agreeing to what I am saying. I have expectation and the person is not able to fulfill on the expectation. But again, I would say, bring the right perception, right view, accurate view. Is that expectation who we are? Why I want the other person to act like me? Then I should, literally talk to myself, or I should date myself, or I should marry myself. Isn't it something like this? So why there is so much of load of, vanity upon the other person? So it's actually who we are creating. It's exactly what we are creating. So, but we like to play the blame game, and then vanity becomes stronger and stronger in our system. So we should try to eliminate it. Okay. But if you see yourself as you are, and if you can expand your consciousness to see the reality, like we are the soul, right? And try to improve yourself, your joy will increase. So the more this is my realization, the more we understand the right view, the more light aspect we bring in into picture, the more differentiate we do from the real and the unreal, what is illusion, what is reality, the joy just brings into life. Now again, it's a process. We need to first work on the cleansing, removing, okay, being aware what we need to remove, and then removing, and then joy naturally comes to us. It is something like this. When not only you're energizing, you're just cleansing, the body is healing itself on its own. Okay, so I'll just talk, it's already 3:34, so I'll just cover two more points very quickly, and then if there are any question, you feel free to ask. Third is, ego is against joy. The ego says, I am important and you are not. Everyone must worship me and I am the most important person. The ego is very touchy. If anyone touches your ego, it aches. Leave the ego alone, because it blocks the flow of blissful energy. Now most of the time people say, oh, I'm having, during meditation I'm feeling experiencing pain here, there. So again, my understanding is, what are the blocks? Be aware. Think that, what is your block? Have that self reflection, understanding that this is my block, because of which the divine energy is not able to flow into our system. Yes. So ego is something like this. Actually, it's more very lower personality nature. Ego is very lower personality nature. If you really see how the beautiful is the universe, like we live on the planet Earth. Again, that is also an illusion in itself, but still we'll make the conversation easier. We live on the planet Earth, which is a part of the solar system. Okay, our solar system. And Lord Surya is the Lord Parabrahman, who is the, god of the solar system, our solar system. And then there are so many solar system, and then there are so many solar system clinging to coming together and making, galaxy. We are the part of one galaxy, which is the Milky Way galaxy. Then there are so many galaxies. So again, leave about above higher hierarchy. So just imagine, we are so tiny, small, yet created in the image of light, image of God, divine light, divine love, divine power. We are so small and tiny particles. If we do our task on this earth, if we, as William Shakespeare said, very beautiful thing, this world is our stage. So we come here, we do our role, and we go back. Again, we come to this world, we do our role, we go back. So if we have these tendencies of, ego within it, within ourselves, we should really try to eliminate, and we should have that, eagle perspective. Oh, I'm really that tiny creature, but yet I'm so powerful because I'm made in the image of God. Let me act in the image of God. That is, let me try to develop more and more divine light, divine love, divine power. Now, to develop these three aspects within me, now, again, one truth is that yes, we are already that. It's just we have not realized that potential. We're still sleeping. At night we think that in the one of the book of Holy Master DK, it is beautifully said that every night is a rehearsal of death. Okay, because every night when we go to our astral body, we go somewhere, right? And we think we are dreaming. So when we wake up, we think we have woken up, but actually, our day when we have woken up, it's like a dream. Okay, so those who are really understanding what I'm trying to say, that we are the multi-dimensional beings. We think we have woken up every morning, but it is something like this. Yes, we have woken up every morning, we have come back to the physical body or to this matter, that hey, you go and you perform and do your duty, right? So ego should be avoided. The last one, fifth point, I'm skipping the fourth. Fifth one is, okay, no, I'll cover the fourth point. Very good example I have to share. Pretension is a hindrance to follow of joy and bliss. Pretension means to pretend that you are something which you are not. Within yourself fighting against each other, self-fighting against each other. When you do this, you feel contradictory waves within self, fighting against each other. Your conscience says you are not, while your mind fabricates you are. This creates cleavages between you, and you cannot have the joy that you're divided within yourself. So it is something like this. I'll try to explain it in very simple example. Okay, for the first time we did lied in life, we did something wrong, there is always an inner calling. There is always a little voice which murmurs, hey, you don't do it. Hey, what you are doing. So those who are understanding what I'm trying to say, you can actually relate with me. Hey, what are you doing? This is wrong. Don't do it. What if this happens? What if that happens? So this voice within me, within us, it's like it continuously stops us from doing something wrong. But as we are so much lost in our personality, we keep on doing something, negative again and again, wrong again and again. This voice somewhere gets lost. This voice is no more heard, right? So again, when we pick up ourselves, when we decide that, I will not be pretentious, and then again we get an opportunity to hear this voice guiding us. So again, it's a voice, something I'm trying to talk about, higher self or higher consciousness. So sometimes in life we try to, when we go in retreat, when we go for spiritual gatherings, or when we go and we meet somebody, we try to be pretentious. Some of us, we have this tendency, oh, okay, let's be nice, how are you doing and everything. But my question is, if we are pretending out there, which we are not in reality, and in our mind we are continuously criticizing this person, why we have to behave like that, rather being that, actful, that dramatic, bringing in drama and letting our emotional body to enjoy that drama and lower tendencies. Let us sit and bless the person, so that when we meet this person, we do not have to be pretentious, we do not have to act. So acting, what we do, we think, we are acting with person, we are fooling the person. We are just fooling ourselves. So the more discerning qualities we develop within ourselves, the more goodwill we have, that yes, I want to transmute ourselves. I want to transmute myself, and with love, not now, by beating ourselves. Sometimes we don't do our practices and we go into guilt. आज तो meditation नहीं हुआ तो अरे कैसे नहीं हो पाया. We start beating our own self. No, do it with love. इट्स ओके, नहीं हो पाया आज, कोई बात नहीं, आज स्किप हो गया, आई विल डू इट इस टाइम पे इतने बजे, इट्स ओके. So, when we are more and more pretentious, we are not fooling anybody out there. We're just fooling ourselves. We're just like wearing that beautiful mask. Hello, me. I cannot see the world. Okay, everybody is blind. It's just like that. If I think I am blind, I'm just pretending, or I'm just thinking everybody out there is blind. But my thinking that everybody out there is blind won't make the world blind. So, it's something like this. I read one of the teachings of the Dalai Lama. He said somewhere, credit goes to him. So, even if thousands of people do a wrongful act, will not make it right. And I repeat that when I say that. Even if 1,000 people are doing there something wrong, it won't make that act right. Even if one person, or even if nobody is doing the act right, that act will be right. So we should always try to have right viewpoint. Now, how right viewpoint can we develop? With right thoughts, right speech, and right action. Okay, again, teachings of Lord Buddha and teachings of many, many great ones. Similar teachings we have in our school of virtues, and similar what we are trying to develop from this book. Yes. So with that note, we have today cover the 4 tendencies, because I feel, the more we read, the bigger our responsibility is to work, work, work. So let us start with the baby steps. Let us know the tendencies. Yes, I have this. I have that. I have to work. So let me, come to this place where I have actually started working on myself. Sessions, knowledge are good, but my question is again the same. Are we practicing? If we are not practicing, we are just enjoying the knowledge, and the knowledge has not concretized in the form of wisdom. It's just there over a period of time. If not practice, it will fade away. The energy will fade away, right? So, with that note, shall we give thanks to our higher beings? Yes? Okay, so let us close our eyes to the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, especially to the beloved teacher, Grandmaster Chokoksui, to his teacher Mahaguruji Meli, to the Torkam Saradariya, to his foundation, to all the angelic beings of light, love, and power, to all the masters, to the angelic hierarchy, to our higher self and divine self, to all the angels of knowledge, to all the angels of communication and technology. Thank you for your presence, your guidance throughout the session. Thank you for your love, for your mercy, for your compassion. Thanks and full faith. So be it, so be it, so it is. Thank you for giving us the strength to eliminate these tendencies within us and transmute it into joy. Joy is what we are, and joy is what flows through us infinitely. So be it, so be it, so it is. Thank you so much. So, with that note, if we have